Good morning, Way Fam from France.
I'm Ashley, this is my husband Josh and our friend Laura.
We sold everything we had to travel the world, and now we want to share with you the way away.
So subscribe down below, hit the like button, and hit that little bell so that you can follow our adventures.
Let's go.
Today is our first full day in France. We left the city of Paris, took a 40-minute train ride to the best kept secret chateau in all of France.
So we have arrived at Chateau Vaux le Vicomte, which I'm probably saying wrong, but it is heralded as France's best kept secret chateau because everyone knows of Versailles, but not everyone knows of Vaux le Vicomte. Again, I'm kind of blurring the words there because I'm not confident in saying it. It's Vaux le Vicomte. I'll write it down below.
We just got a great introduction of the chateau, but now we're going to discover it ourselves. We've got our little walkie-talkies, what are these? Audio guide. And we're gonna learn a little bit more about the chateau and the stories that come from here. When coming to the chateau, we didn't know what to expect. We started by getting audio guides and going from room to room. The room started from going into different sleeping quarters and what they were throughout the years. This chateau has had many different people who have owned it, so it's changed throughout the years what it's been used for. The coolest story was the one about the man who started this whole chateau. He commissioned 3 different artists, one to do the grounds, one to paint the inside and plan all the furniture, and the other for the architecture. It's really cool because they were friends, and during the 5 years that it took, only 5 years to create this whole beautiful chateau, they all lived together, and they actually are the same 3 architects who built Versailles. And in celebration, Fouquet decided to invite the king, Louis XIV, over for a grand party. Now Fouquet, he had an arch nemesis, some would say, a man who was up for the same position and who wanted to gain favor with the king. So he told the king all these terrible things about Fouquet in the hopes of actually taking the position from Fouquet.
During the party, Fouquet had entertainment brought in. There was a play by a great playwright at the time. He took people through the gardens where they went around on horses and they went for a stroll. They came back and had a dinner, and then at dusk, fireworks went off in the sky, and it was all this huge, grand performance, the likes of which really had never been seen in France before. It was amazing, impressive, and for Louis, it was a bit embarrassing because he couldn't stand to see anyone shine brighter than him, Louis XIV, who would later be referred to as the Sun King.
2 weeks after the grand party that Fouquet had here at this beautiful chateau, he was arrested. The bad guy, Colbert, he was conspiring and telling the king all these terrible things about Fouquet, and succeeded actually because the king was already jealous and had him arrested.
And for like charges of embezzlement, essentially, or mismanaging of the monies and that sort of thing.
Yeah, who knows if he actually was like doing those things?
Probably not, according to the records, but
he was arrested and tried. His trial took 4 whole years, which actually is a very long time for back then.
After the trial finally ended, he was basically found to be kind of maybe a little bit guilty, so they said, you can never come back to France again. They banished him, but the
courts.
king, the courts said that, and then the king, in his first real act of absolute monarchy, said no. He's going to be imprisoned for the rest of his life. He was not satisfied with their decision because, he wanted to have him completely removed after all the bad things about him that had been whispered into his ear by Colbert. Yeah, the pure on jealousy. So indeed, he was sentenced to prison for the rest of his life, and he is said to have shared a prison with the Man in the Iron Mask. Some say that maybe he was the Man in the Iron Mask, but again, that's probably not the case. But after that fact, King Louis XIV had the same 3 people who built this chateau design Versailles. The gardener, the architect, and the artist. And they all built Versailles in a grand fashion, fashioned after this place, but better, because Louis XIV.
Yeah, man, he had too much power.
Louis XIV was supposedly the first time in the French monarchy that a king was like an absolute monarch. Before then, there was a prime minister and all these different places in power to keep checks and balances, but systematically, through jealousy and sheer magnetism, Louis XIV changed the whole system and he became kind of a god on earth, at least according to himself and the people he surrounded himself with.
For you, that's all that I
So the current owner that lives here now was actually living in the main house up until for the first few years of its operation as a museum, and they'd have to hide the kids' toys and the TV and things as guests came to tour the chateau. Now they live over in this section here, and yeah, they still live here. That is really cool. What would that be like to live at a chateau? A grand one such as this, like a famous one. That would be crazy.
for you, all that I do.
The only thing that can make our day any better from just hanging out at the beautiful chateau is an ice cream flower. I love ice cream.
That's the end of the story. Ice cream flour.
I have to eat it before it melts.
What'd you get, Laura?
Stracciatella.
Stracciatella?
Stracciatella. It's a pretty common gelato flavor. It's basically chocolate chip.
Okay, fair enough.
I have caramel and cheesecake. My cheesecake is in the middle.
And I got lime with basil as well as a raspberry on the outside.
You won for the prettiest.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Style point.
Yeah. All right, we have come back to our beautiful Airbnb apartment, which if you want to see that, yesterday's video we do an actual walkthrough of the place, so check that out. But we're just relaxing and chilling out here. I'm smelling wonderful things around the corner as I'm working on the computer, and the ladies are just really going at it here. Look at this.
Cooking.
Yeah?
Cooking some dinner. We had dessert first.
Uh-huh,
And
as
now
you
we're
do.
having dinner.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's how the Parisians do it.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
We're really getting involved with the culture here.
Just being cultural.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, that makes. What are you making though?
Just stir fry. Stir fry. Yeah.
Nice. Don't cut yourself with
It's
your
in there.
knife. I saw you rubbing your nose with that thing. Also, I'd like to eat that food, so no snot, please.
Okay.
Look at that. Yum. Well, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Alright, I put my cozy clothes on and we made dinner, and now it's time to relax. We're gonna watch some Netflix before we go to bed. today was an awesome day. We saw a beautiful chateau. If you are interested in visiting that chateau, it is open to the public, so we will put the link down below for you so you can find it yourself. I hope we encouraged you to get out and travel today, and we'll see you in the next video. Tomorrow we're going on a food tour, and that's one of my favorite things to do in a city. We'll see you later, Way fam. À demain? Is that what you say?
Good job.
Au revoir!